What's good, y'all? It's your boy Yang here, back on the Barry channel, and today I wanted to just get into like a psychological talk about ranking up. Right, this is going to be a little bit practical, but a little bit more like mental. So for the people who are only going to be here for about a minute and 45 seconds, I'm going to give you guys the squeeze right now. Focus on the process, not the results. So let's really get into this and explain more of the mentality that I think can help multiple people rank up, help me help me rank up and just play the game, enjoy the game, find enjoyment even when I'm losing, but also help you in other places outside of your life besides just on the video game. So why focus on process instead of results, right? Here on this channel, we talk a lot about fundamentals because I don't play the game a lot, so mechanically I'm not that great. So I have to have great fundamentals in order for me to even keep up at certain ranks, or even me to compete against people who may play the game more than me, who may have more skill than me. But I just know that I have a process on each character and a general process when it comes to hero shooters like this or similar games like Overwatch that help me to make better decisions. And in this game, right, we completely get walked. I'm just going to do the spoiler alert. We get fried. But I'm learning Venom, right? And part of this process of Venom is understanding how to play against certain compositions and like what do you need to do and how do you like respond to hero hero compositions that you may not be used to fighting against. So I'm in this. My fundamentals are getting in and out, right? Trying to manage my E cooldown as best as I can when I'm low, making sure I peel out to get back to my healers, and then using my body to shield other heroes. Like right there, I tried to shield the Luna, preserve her from taking damage, and then focus on just not dying. Like that's the objective. A lot of times, like Venom, he's not going to do as much damage as other tanks, right? So a lot of times you have to focus on body blocking and trying to stay alive and isolating or picking off people or comboing with your team. So we completely lose, right? But a lot of times, me, I'm guilty of this too. You get on the game and you just want the win, right? That's really what you're playing for. You're playing for just the satisfaction of having the win. And that limits your experience from learning because it doesn't give you the opportunity to adjust. So the easiest thing to think about is counter swapping, and I'm guilty of this. Like sometimes I do counter swap. I do play other things when some stuff is not working, right? Just to satisfy the team. To if I'm getting hard countered, meaning like everybody is CCing me, like I will switch. But in some instances, switching is limiting your experience from learning on how to deal with the problem. If there's a Venom that made it, the number one Venom made it all the way to eternity or one above all, right? Is I'm sure there's a few games that he probably had to counter swap, but he doesn't have to counter swap all the time. And I feel like it's the same even in lower elos. If you take the time to just focus on learning instead of focusing on just getting the win, you rob yourself of that experience that's going to actually help you improve to know what to do. So in this game, right, I learned when it comes to magic, Venom does not do a lot of damage against armor. He really doesn't do a lot of damage, period, right? But I needed to take this L. I needed to be in this to experience this matchup. Even with fighting against a Phoenix, right? With the Phoenix, you really need to be trying to bait out her shift, right? Because that's her escape ability. You need to bait that out, get that out of the place. I also learned it's hard for Venom to dive this healer comp when they have a Luna and an Invisible Woman. Luna is easy for her to ice you, and it's also easy for Invisible Woman to push you back and leave you. So when you're diving them, right? At least how I was doing it, you're just diving them. I'm diving them straight up, and that's not effective, especially when everybody has their cooldowns. Magneto uses bubble, right? Okay, this could have been a time for me to jump in, but also none of my team is there. I dive in to try to protect and preserve Smooth to soak up the damage, but I'm just playing through the pain, playing through the stomp, so I can learn what I need to do. And how this process can assist you in life is it will help you reshape your mind to alter the dopamine that you get from your experience. If you only get dopamine from the win, when you only get dopamine from the reward, you're never going to want to improve, right? And this saying has been sticking with me for a lot lately is the reward for good work is more work, right? So when you stick through that process of losing, of frustration, of just getting bodied by other teams, and you actually force yourself to learn, that process, right, is how you rank up, right? The reward for good work is more work. So that rank up process, when you play people that are better than you, when you play people that have more skill than you, or they know the matchup better than you, when you finally learn, the reward is that you get to play other people that are even better. That's basically ranking up, right? That's what ranking up is. But when the only thing that's on your mind is just winning in the win condition, your dopamine is hooked to the result. It's not hooked to the process. So once you get stuck, right, and your body is wired only to feel good about the win, you're not going to have the motivation. You're not going to have the perseverance or determination to continue to improve at the game so you can rank up, because you're just focused on the win. Yes, the win is how you get to the next rank. But if you go let's say you made it all the way to Diamond, GM, Celeste, whatever it may be, right? And you didn't learn, when you get to that next rank and you're focused on the the dopamine hits, and you're unable to adapt, you're gonna get stomped, and then you're gonna go right back to the rank that you were at. The process of learning, the process of improving, it is painful because you don't know. You're unsure, you lose, you make mistakes, you get punished, right? It's not rewarding. It doesn't feel good at all. But if you can start to trick yourself, you can start to make yourself think and believe that, hey, because this match is hard, because this is painful, because this is an issue, right? Because I'm actually being, forced to learn and forced to be uncomfortable, that means I'm getting better. When you can start to tell yourself that, when you can start to think about that as the thought instead of, oh, I just need to get a win, you are going to start tricking your brain into loving the process of learning. And when you can think about that process instead of thinking about the result, it's going to accelerate your result. It's going to accelerate your learning process, because now you're tricking your brain to want to learn. And the learning, the fundamentals of learning is going to be the reason, it's going to be the thing that carries you into the win, that carries you into improving, that carries you into understanding the new matchups that you have, understanding how you can be a better player and how you could be a better person. Now, I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want to go too crazy, because this is like, more psychological talk. I may, if you guys want me to go deeper into this, we can. But even outside of the video game, even outside of Marvel Rivals, this is something that you should be implementing in your real life, because when you are hooked to the process, you'll start to learn in other areas. You'll start to see yourself grow beyond just a video game. You start to see yourself change your decision making, change how you think about things, change how you approach your everyday life, because now you're not focused on the win. You're not focused on the win. And truth be told is that a lot of times you are not in control of the results every single time. I know I made a video talking about, Marvel Rivals and like teammates and different things like that, and that's something that you aren't in control of. You aren't in control of your teammates, right? I know I went on a rant talking about it, people complaining about it, but you have no control over that. You have no control over how your teammates play. You have no control over how the enemy plays. You have no control over the map that you're on. You have no control over what person gets banned, if your character gets banned, if you get target banned. You have no control over that. But what you do have control over is your decision making. You do have control over your resource management. You do have control over your patterns, right? Your habits, the things that you continually do, things that you do over and over again. That's what you do have control over. Like right there, that's a prime example of me not sticking to the fundamentals. I use my E slightly early, but really in my process, I'm supposed to leave that. They iced me. They tried to grab me. They did everything that they could, I believe. In that one instance, they used a lot of cooldowns, which is part of my process as Venom. Which is I want the enemy team to use their resources on me, but I don't want them to use all their resources, and I'm unable to escape. I'm unable to get out. That's not what I want. So, for me, right, I have to figure out, okay, what are my habits? Why am I continuing to die in that circumstance? And how do I end that? How do I stop that from being my reality? How do I improve and make a better decision instead of complaining about how, oh, their enemy team is doing XYZ? And in this fight right here, I think I kind of learned a little bit where you have the Luna ult and the Invisible Woman. They're changing on each other. I'm never going to do enough damage unless I do my ult combo to kill them. I'm never going to do enough damage. So what did I do? I just walked away. Here, I'm peeling. It's like, okay, it's clear. It's clear we're not gonna get any kills. It's clear that they have the positional advantage. Let me just back up from my team, right? Let me just move away. And this is me improving later in the game when it doesn't matter, and understanding and adjusting. I jumped in, right? And I dove in and I just jumped out because it was like, hey, like my team is not here. I'm probably gonna die. You know why? Oh, the magic is back there fighting everybody. That's why no one is up there. And this is me in real time having that process of learning, having that process of like, okay, I need to change what I'm doing. I see that the Luna's isolated. I'm trying to do damage on her. I grabbed the health pack. You know what? I'm not gonna kill her. Let me just get out. I messed up with a bad grapple there. I'm still learning I'm trying to learn how to B hop, and I didn't do what I needed to do, but my process improved. But I got to continue to practice and see where I was going wrong, despite the fact that we're losing. Despite the fact that there's 20 seconds left on the clock, we've been getting stomped the whole time. I'm still committed to the process of improving as a player, improving as an individual, and I'm not allowing the frustration of not getting the results I want to stop me from learning on the character, to stop me from altering my behavior, to stop me from understanding what my behavior is. And this is something that I want people to adopt. This is something that I want to continue to preach, to continue to push into this game, because I believe that it's important. I found my isolated target. She uses her ability. I have to go back to cart. I don't get off what I need, right? I'm separating them, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna lose. I'm still learning the matchup, even though we get fried. Game is over. I'm learning on how to B hop, how to get out. I still do it anyway, despite the fact that we lose. And I'm just gonna keep pushing this for you guys. I know this was a long talking video and a loss, but I just want to push process over results. That is the way to rank up. That is the way to get better. That is the way to deal with the loss. That is the way to deal with the bad teammates. That is to deal with your bad behavior. Is to just fall in love with the process, fall in love with what you need to do, and then you can continue to win from there, right? I blocked 38,000 damage. I did 12k damage, which wasn't like crazy or anything like that. But through that game, I got better. I minimized my deaths. I was almost the least amount of deaths on my team, right? But we're focusing on learning, right? We're focusing on improving. We're focusing on what we need to do to get better, and not worrying about just the result. Because at the end of the day, you can't control whether you win or lose in a six player or 12-player matchup or 12-player game, because you're not in control of who comes into your lobby. But that's it. GG's, guys. I hope this video can help you. And if you're interested in this, more videos about like the psychology of learning, how to improve and get better and rank up, just comment, let us know that you like this, and we'll continue to make more content. Thank you.